Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we're going to be counting down my top 10 movies of 2020. It's no secret that 2020 was devoid of a lot of the releases that were planned to come out this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Things were getting pushed to 2021, things were getting thrown onto streaming services, delayed indefinitely. It was a big, hot shit sandwich. But there were a few movies that came out that I did really enjoy, so making this list wasn't that hard because there wasn't that many to pick from, but I did find a solid top 10 as well as 5 honorable mentions, so let's get right into it. Coming at number 10 is the only Amazon movie that I watched, that is Borat, subsequent movie film. This is a very unexpected comedic sequel. It comes 14 years after the original one came out. I really enjoyed Sacha Baron Cohen's performance, and I thought the father-daughter dynamic in the movie was really entertaining as well. I thought it was going to be kind of cliche, but it ended up being really funny and really interesting, and I liked it almost as much as the original, but the original is still superior in my opinion. Coming at number 9 is a film about schizophrenia. It is Words on Bathroom Walls. I thought this was an interesting take on dealing with the topic of schizophrenia, and it's funny too. I thought there were a lot of great comedic moments in this movie, and by the end of it, it really started to pull my heartstrings. I thought there were some great performances in this movie. It didn't get nearly as big of a push I thought it deserved due to the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, but it is one you should check out, and it's one that I own personally. Coming at number 8 on my top 10 movies of 2020 list, it is the highest grossing domestic movie of 2020. It is Bad Boys for Life. I thought this movie was fun, had some great action sequences. Sure, there are some cliche moments in it, and it wasn't overall like a big improvement on the series, but it was fun, and it has coronavirus to thank for making as much money as it did and keeping that top spot. It is a fun movie, and it's number 8 on my list. Coming at number 7 is going to be a controversial one for a lot of people. It is the last Fox X-Men movie. It is The New Mutants. I thought this movie was very scaled down from what X-Men movies usually are, and that's why I enjoyed it. I love Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. She's in this movie as well, and I really enjoy anything that she's in. She was in another movie called The Owners this year that I enjoyed as well, although it's not on this list. Spoilers. But I thought New Mutants finally coming out was a little bit of a breath of fresh air for 2020. It gave us a little bit of hope because this movie has been delayed for years, so the fact that it finally defied all the odds and came out on the big screen was enough for it to end up in my top 10, although it's not my favorite X-Men movie by any means. My number 6 choice in my top 10 movies of 2020, it is Bill and Ted Face the Music. The first 2 Bill and Ted movies are very funny 80s and then early 90s films for me, and seeing Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter back together on the big screen was really cool to see. Thankfully, this did get a short theatrical run, even though it was introduced on demand at the same time. That was great for people who weren't comfortable going out during the COVID-19 pandemic, but I saw it in the theaters multiple times. I really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. That's why Bill and Ted Face the Music is number 6. So now we're in the top 5, and my number 5 pick, it is Taylor Swift Folklore, The Long Pond Studio Sessions. I love documentaries and concert films and just those kind of movies in general, so the fact that Taylor Swift did one for Folklore, which was one of my favorite albums of the year, and it came on Disney Plus, and it was just like, hey, we're 24 hours before, we're going to announce that it's out. I thought this was a great look at all these different songs, and I loved hearing the stories behind them. There were some great stripped-down performances in the movie as well, and it was a great look at an album that's already got a lot of press in 2020, so that's why it's number 5 on my list. Coming at number 4 on my top 10 movies of 2020 list, it is Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Tenet is confusing, it's long and it's bloated, but it has some of the best action and one of the most interesting stories I've seen in 2020. Sure, I've had to see it 4 times to kind of wrap my head around it because 1, the dialogue isn't very audible, and 2, the plot is very, very confusing, but it was one of my favorites of the year. In a normal year, this might not crack the top 10, but since 2020 is a big shit sandwich, it is number 4. Number 3 is a movie that was released in some markets in 2019 but didn't hit the US until January of this year, so I'm including it on my 2020 list. So number 3 is The Gentleman. Matthew McConaughey kills it in this gangster movie, and this film is just clever, it's well shot, and it's one of my favorite gangster movies that's come out in the past couple of years. That's why it's number 3, and it's just a really fun time. I've watched it a couple times on home media already. I'd recommend you check it out if you like Guy Ritchie films. Number 2 is a movie that was my number 1 pick for most of 2020 until it was dethroned this fall. It is I Still Believe. It's a great Christian film based on Jeremy Camp, a Christian singer who did the famous song I Still Believe. It's heartfelt. It's got some great musical performances. KJ Apa from Riverdale is one of my favorite actors in TV today, so to see him on the big screen was cool to see. And I really recommend you check this movie out. Even if you're not a big Christian, it's just got a great family message to it, and I would highly recommend it. So before I detail my number 1 movie of 2020, I got 5 honorable mentions for you. These movies are films that I really enjoy, but they just were not good enough to be in my top 10. So we have The Croods, A New Age, Soul, The King of Staten Island, The Last Vermeer, and Sonic the Hedgehog All good films in their own right. They just were not top 10 material in my opinion. So my number one choice on my top 10 movies of 2020 list, it's the only movie I bought a theater print of and hung up in my house. It is... That's right, it's The Broken Hearts Gallery. A rom-com is my number one movie of 2020, and here is why. When I watched this in the theater all 3 different times, it just was a breath of fresh air, and it was a break from all the shit we were dealing with mentally due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I laughed, I had tears in my eyes, and just a warm feeling in my heart. This romance that plays out on screen is fantastic. There's great musical choices in it, and it's just a lot of fun. It's light, and it's a movie that will just take you out of your head for 2 hours, and that's all I could ask for. I've enjoyed it every time that I've watched it, and that's why it's my number one pick. It's a movie I'm going to return to for years to come to remind me of those 6 hours I've spent watching this movie in 2020, that things are going to get better and will be all right in the end. So thank you so much for watching this video. This is going to be my last video of 2020, and going into 2021, I'm going to be taking about a week off, so don't worry, I'm not quitting YouTube or anything. I'm just going to take a breather at the beginning of the year because I upload daily, so that is a lot of work, and that's just a lot of repetition, so I need just a little bit of break. It's my birthday on the 5th of January, so I'm going to take that time for myself, but I will be back with more videos, so thank you so much for supporting me in 2020. In just this year, you guys helped me get over 50,000 views and over 400 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough for that. I very much appreciate the support. I expect much more content because I'm not going anywhere. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.